This video is dedicated to version 18.1 of our system. It contains a lot of important functionality, so we have split the video into two parts. We present to your attention the first part. It is entirely dedicated to a new element, the user dashboard. You can now find a button in the main menu that takes you to this section. The dashboard is a screen that displays personalized user information, including projects this user is involved in, the project-related tasks assigned to this user. These are found in the Planning tab of each project. The tasks from the calendar assigned to this user. These are not directly connected to projects. For example, inventory audit, cleaning, repairs, etc. User's financial data. A working and non-working hours of the user. Let's look more closely at the structure of the dashboard. First of all, there's the main menu. This element is present on other pages too. But currently in the dashboard, it's adaptive. Watch this. In the future, this adaptive menu will be applied across other sections of the system as well. Note that different elements of the dashboard support horizontal and vertical swiping, which is convenient when working in smaller windows. And next, the dashboard includes a user overview block. Here we see the following items: accountable funds, balance, and also working hours and non-working hours. What can be said about the item accountable funds? It is currently inactive. It will be launched together with the new finance module. This block will display, for example, amounts issued to the employee by the company for purchasing equipment or other company-related expenses. What does the balance item include? It shows all payments accrued to the employee, specifically for working in a manager role. Also, for work in a more narrowly specialized role, not involving management or coordination, and for the use of a personal vehicle on the project. How is the balance calculated? For example, we see that for working on this project as a technical director, the employee will receive the following amount. In another project, we see a different specialty and accordingly a different amount. In this project, the employee's vehicle was used, and when payment is made, the amount appears in the paid column. Accordingly, the value in the balance column changes. And with that, the total visible balance we're reviewing is reduced. If you do not want the employee to see this data, you can hide the entire balance item by restricting access rights and settings. Next, let's look at the items working hours and non-working hours. These correspond to what is called schedule on the calendar page. By viewing this data in the dashboard, the employee can see vacation, sick leave, and so on. Now let's open the mobile app to see how the same elements appear there. Since the mobile app has fewer features than the web version, the main menu in the mobile version does not mirror the one in the web interface. Here, look, in the main menu to the left of the button for scanning SKU barcodes, the icon with the letter I, and the button for launching the shipping mode, there is the symbol for switching to the dashboard. Inside the dashboard, swipe right to move through the items in the user overview block. The first one is the currently inactive accountable funds. Next is the balance item, where you can see all payments and the balance for each. By clicking Watch, you get access to more detailed information. Then comes item working hours. And after that, non-working hours. Let's now return to the web version of the system. The next and main section of the dashboard is the so-called working area. This is where the cards of the employee's work-related projects and tasks are displayed. The cards can be grouped into three categories. The first group is Project List. It contains project cards. Each card is labeled with the letter P for project, and next to it, we see the project number. A separate card is created for each activity of the employee within the project. For example, if the employee is assigned as both the technical director and the sound engineer for the same project, the dashboard will display this as two different cards. And there are buttons to go to the project associated with the task, and also a button to contact the project manager or team lead, provided those employees have entered their contact information in the system. Let's move on. What other information is shown in the project card? First of all, we see the name of the project. If the name is too long, you can read the full version by hovering over it. Next, we see the project estimate status and the project specification status. These refer to the two icons shown as colored circles. The colors of these icons match those set previously in the system settings. You can read the status names by hovering over them. We also see the amount of payment based on the specialty under which the employee is assigned to the project. In addition, there is an icon showing that the employee has been assigned extra tasks for this project. The number next to the icon shows how many of these extra tasks have been assigned. The card also displays the worker's project period and location associated with the project. The second group of cards is project tasks. It includes cards for tasks assigned to the employee that are related to projects. These are the tasks from the planning section inside each project. The cards of this type are marked with the same P letter and project number as project cards, but followed by a slash and the task number. Each task card displays its current status. See this icon in the form of a colored circle? It expands into a menu of status names when you click the arrow icon next to it. So, you can change the task status directly from here. And below the estimate label, you can see which estimate sheets the task is linked to. Timeline stages assigned to the employee are shown under the timeline label. If the task description is too long, it can be expanded or collapsed by clicking. The third group of cards displayed in the workspace is the Tasks group. This group contains cards for tasks that are not related to any projects. These types of tasks are located on the calendar page in our system. These tasks are labeled with the letter T, short for task. Next to the letter, you can see the number of the task the card refers to. Any card from this group is structurally identical to a project-related task card, with the single difference being that it does not contain any elements linking it to a project. These are the elements I mean. As with project task cards, you can see here the task name. The current status of the task is also shown and can be changed right here. Task duration data is also present. And finally, the task description, which can be expanded and collapsed as needed. It's time to return to the mobile version of Golova to see how the elements we've just reviewed in the web version are implemented there. As we can see, here in the working area, unlike in the web version, the groups of cards are arranged one below the other. As you can see, the cards look exactly the same as in the web version. First, we see the card title. Next comes the project name, if it's a project card. You can tap it to view the full name. Then here are the status icons. If it's a project card, the estimate status and specification status are shown here. If it's a task card, the icon shows the current task status, which, just like in the web version, can be changed directly here. If we're viewing a project card, here is the specialty the employee is assigned under, and here is the amount they will earn. Here is the same icon as in the web version, indicating additional tasks. And here are the same estimate and timeline titles related to the task. Long task descriptions are also expandable and collapsible. Here are the time frames for the event or task, and the contact button for the project manager or supervisor. There is also a button to access the project. Tapping it launches the mobile browser and opens the corresponding project page. For a faster transition into the project, we recommend logging into the Golova website in your mobile browser beforehand. And we return to the web version of Golova. And now let's look at what other elements the dashboard contains, in addition to the main menu, the user overview block, and the working area with cards that we have just reviewed. Here, for example, you can also see the filter bar for the displayed cards. This menu includes the following items: all projects and tasks, projects, project tasks, and tasks. This feature allows you to select which types of cards will be visible in the working area. For example, if you choose the Tasks filter, only the cards of non-project related tasks will be displayed in the working area. That is, the cards of projects and project-related tasks will be hidden from it. There is also a bar for switching the display mode of the working area. This bar includes the following items: My Plan, Calendar, and List. Let's start with the My Plan mode. Note that we are currently in this mode. It is a convenient example for explaining the concept of the working area and cards. Essentially, in this mode, the cards for the selected time period are simply grouped into the familiar three columns: Project List, Project Tasks, and Tasks. The next display mode is called Calendar. In this mode, miniature versions of the cards are placed within the selected period on the calendar. This visualizes the employee's activity. It's especially convenient in this mode to distribute tasks over time segments. When you click on any of the small cards, its full-size version with all the contained information appears. The filter menu also works in this mode. Here, for example, I select Project Tasks. See how the content of the working area changed? Now it only contains cards for project-related tasks. Or let's choose just tasks. Let's take a look at the next display mode, the one called List. This is a table of all projects and tasks for the selected period. Here, the cards are converted into list rows. Each row represents a project or task. In this mode, unlike the others, very flexible sorting and filtering of cards is available by types of data, by project names, statuses, dates, and so on. Clicking the gear icon allows you to choose which table columns to display. For example, if I want to see only the date, time, and payment amount columns, I leave only those checkboxes active. You may have already noticed that the rows, which are essentially cards, are grouped into Project List, Project Tasks, and Tasks when this display mode is activated. Additionally, note that you have access to another group here, Vehicles. It contains data about projects in which vehicles registered to the user whose dashboard is currently open are involved. Let's return from analyzing display modes in the working area back to a strategic level and see what other elements are included in the dashboard. In addition to the previously covered components, there is also a function for selecting the period displayed to the user: day, week, month. Look, with month selected, we see a certain number of cards. If we choose the week period, we are shown fewer cards because the displayed period has decreased from a month to a week. If we click Day, we will see even fewer cards. In the center of the row containing this functionality, we can specify the exact day, week, or month we want to see in the working area. When selecting a week-long period, its specific dates are entered as follows. The time period selection described above is available in all three previously mentioned display modes. Moreover, in all display modes, as just shown in the My Plan example and now visible in the List example. When selecting month, week, or day, you are simply changing the size of the visible time window. And accordingly, the number of cards visible to you within it changes. See? The only exception is in Calendar mode. If the selected time period is week, a small calendar appears in the working area. This is made so that, if needed, the user can easily jump to any date of the month without switching between modes and periods. Also, below the small calendar, the selected week is shown as a list of days and cards, which makes navigating dates and planning actions easier. So, the filters, display modes, and time period selection are more or less clear. Let's now return to the mobile app and see how all of this is implemented there. Here is the filter menu for the types of cards to be displayed. The display mode switch bar in the mobile version appears as a menu that expands when tapped. It's located here on the left. We've essentially already reviewed the My Plan mode. Let's see how the working area appears in this mode when selecting different time ranges. Right now, month is selected. Let's switch to week. Now let's select day. Next, let's activate the list mode. The rows, into which the cards are transformed here, the filters and the sorting arrows, everything is in place and organized exactly the same way as in the main version. This is how the working area looks in calendar mode. As we can see, when choosing a weekly time range, the interface is not made more complex in the way it was in the web version. So, at this point, all available features of the dashboard have been covered. We will tell you about the other improvements and new capabilities included in version 18.1 in our next video. Stay tuned for updates.